Alrighty, more Yu-Gi-Oh, but different kind of series. So let me go into deck edit and go on to this. I wanted to show everybody this. Okay, so AA Amazoness and AA Yugioh, they're both mine. They're what I used to beat the game. Now, the rest of these decks, you see all these decks down here? These are decks which are pre-made by the game, and while some of them are a bit odd, some of these deck builds, alright, for example, I use the Amazoness deck anyway, but Amazoness Warriors. That's a deck that's been made only using Amazoness cards. And Ancient Gear, that's one that only uses... Oops. Wrong button. But so that only uses Ancient Gear monsters. There's tons of decks in the game that allow this. See, I only get 32 slots, so I can't have them all, but these are all in-game ones. There's another Ancient Gear deck there. For example, let's go... Is there a fast way to... So I've got it in all. So this is all of the arcs, all of my own decks as well. So there's some XYZ structure deck, for example. Ultimate Nightmare, there's one. Trickstar. You know the Trickstar monsters? That's a deck that's been made to feature only Trickstar monsters. There's some for... There's literally like... You can just see as I'm moving up, as you see I'm moving up decks, there are like hundreds of decks that have been pre-made in this. Madolchi monsters, they're pretty cool as well. Temple of the Kings, is that the... Okay, that's an Odeon deck. They don't quite follow the anime, some of these decks. So like, I can't use them as like a quick way to make like anime decks, but you see what I'm going with. So what I'm going to do, I've been talking enough. I'm going to go into single player. Now in these duelist challenges, I'll do one from the Yu-Gi-Oh series. Now if we click on Mako, I believe he uses, yes, alright, so under Mako you see deck name, Ritual of the Gishki. I'm going to use my Amazoness deck. Now my Amazoness deck is powered up a little bit, because if you find a certain group of monsters and you double up on the cards, you can make the deck a lot more powerful. But anyway, I'm going to play Mako. I'm going to use my Amazoness monsters, and I'm going to play against Mako's Gishki monsters. Mako never used this, they just themed Mako's deck because they're a bunch of sea serpents. So if you've never used the Amazoness deck before, it is actually pretty good. Now, I'm actually playing against the AI on the game. But so the Gishki monsters... Their strategy, and I've just bumped my microphone, their strategy revolves around summoning a ritual card called Gishki, I can't remember what his name is, but alright, anyway, Amazoness Call, that allows you to call an Amazoness card from your deck. It can be any Amazoness card, and I'm going to use it to pull forth this one. Now, the Amazoness deck is extremely broken. It is super powerful. So this Amazoness Onslaught, once per turn, you can special summon an Amazoness monster from your hand. It has to be active, of course. But if your opponents attack, or you attack your opponent's monsters, you can use this card, and you can just banish them. Alright, let's play Amazoness Princess. That's a good card as well. That allows you to draw an Amazoness spell card from your deck, but what card's that? Breakthrough Skull. Target one face up, effect monster. And effects are negated. I can't read the whole effect. Well, I can, but it'd take too long. Amazoness Village, that's a field spell card. That puts all Amazoness monsters by 200, and if they get destroyed, then you can special summon one once per turn. So it's a pretty good deck, the Amazoness one. It actually beat most of the game for me. Activate the effect of a card. I can activate this now. Amazoness Onslaught. So if my opponent goes into the battle phase, I will be able to special summon one of these. Alright, that is Gishki Beast. When this card is normal summon, you can target one level 4 or lower Gishki monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So that's a pretty good effect as well. Oh, polymerization. Alright, Amazoness Empress. That is sort of like the coup de grace of this deck. so to say. So I'm not sure how many people are really familiar with these like themed decks. Legacy of the Duelist did a really good job at making these decks. There's so many of them. Like there's hundreds and hundreds of decks. I don't think it goes into the thousands, but it wouldn't be far off. All right, let's play our second Amazoness Princess. As long as there's no trap cards this time, we can use that to get any magical trap card with Amazoness in its name. But I am going to go for another Amazoness Call, and I'm going to use that to... It means I can get a monster from my deck. It's a similar effect, but I want to go for this. Amazoness Sage. If that attacks and is still on the field after said attack, you can select one of your opponent's magical trap cards and you can destroy them. So let's go into the battle phase. Now, Amazoness Queen. If my opponent uses a card like Mirror Force or Dark Hole or something like that, that'll destroy all monsters. Only Amazoness Empress gets destroyed. Alright, Amazoness Sage, let's attack. Sweet, Gishki Beast. Activate the effect of Amazoness Onslaught. If I attack or they attack me, I can select yes, and I can just remove their card from play. Extremely broken, because so many effects are like when this monster is destroyed by battle. That's not getting destroyed by battle, that's getting removed from play from the card effect, which basically bypasses that whole... Amazoness Empress also does piercing damage, and all other Amazoness monsters also do piercing damage. Literally, this deck is so broken. You attack with Amazoness Princess. When it's on the field, it's called Amazoness Queen, part of the effect. But I can send a monster from my hand or on the field to the graveyard. So let's do Amazoness Tiger, and let's bring forth Amazoness Archer, which is a banned card. I can't use Amazoness Archer in multiplayer. But for single player against the AI don't care. The reason being is Amazoness Archer has an effect where you can send 2 of your monsters from the field to inflict 1200 points of damage. Doesn't sound like that powerful of an effect because you're losing your monsters, but there are certain effects and stuff where you can actually loop and make it like indestructible. Alright, it looks like the Gishki monsters are beaten in this game. To be fair, I did get a very good starting hand. Amazoness Archers, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, they all lose 500 attack points. Everything is put to attack mode, and they have to attack if able. Again, incredibly broken. Alright, let's end this. Assuming Mako hasn't put any trap cards. Well, that duel went a little bit too quick. The Gishki deck is actually really, really good. Let me pull it up in deck edit. So if I go to one of my empty slots, and it was called Ritual of the Gishki. So there it is. So I can literally take this deck that the AI has made, and now let's have a look through the deck. Gishki Abyss. When this card is summoned, you can add 1 Gishki monster with 1000 or less defense. It's pretty good. It's like a Sangan effect. There are doubled up cards in this deck as well. You can add 1 Gishki monster from your deck to your hand. That's a flip effect. Gishki Advance. Once per turn, you can choose 1 Gishki monster from your deck and place it on top of your deck. Pretty good. You can target 1 level 4 or lower Gishki monster in your graveyard. Special summon that. Target in face-up defense position when it's normal summon. Good effect. Gishki Natalia. I'm not familiar with that one. Cannot be special summoned during the end phase of the turn. This card was normal summoned or flip summoned face up, or flip face up. Return it to the hand. Is that a spirit? It is. When this card is normal summoned or flip summoned, you can target 1 Gishki monster in your graveyard. Return that target to the top of the deck. Yeah, that's not too bad. Gishki Shadow. You can ritual summon exactly 1 water ritual monster with a card that requires use of monsters. This card can be used as the entire requirement. That's not too bad. So that's only 4 stars. If you had a 7-star ritual monster, you can just use Gishki Shadow to do that whole summon. You don't need 2 monsters. That's pretty powerful. Gishki Vision. If you ritual summon exactly 1 water ritual monster with a card, its card can be used. Okay, so that's the same effect. That is, oh, there it is, Gishki Zealgigas. You can ritual summon this card with any Gishki ritual spell card once per turn. So any Gishki ritual spell card. So Mound of the Bound Creator. Level 10 or higher monsters cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. that protects Gishki Zeal Gigas. That's a very powerful combo. There's Gishki Aqua Mirror that can be used to ritual summon any Gishki monster. And there's 3 of them in this deck as well. And the deck then just has Salvage, which gets 2 water monsters, 1500 or less attack from the graveyard to your hand. Yeah. Reveal 1 ritual spell card in your hand to target 2 Gishki monsters in your graveyard, return them to the hand. So the Gishki deck is all about sort of getting those monsters back from the graveyard or putting them back on top of the deck. Metal Reflect Slime, that's a 3000 token. 3000 defense token. There's a couple of Mirror Force in there and a Wire Trap. There are a few XYZ cards in this deck as well. They are also based around Gishki monsters. So the Gishki deck, we are looking sort of at like a at an arc further than GX, but I don't know too much about all this. I somewhat know how to play it. I never really went past GX, but anyway, that is the ritual of the Gishki deck. It's a bit of a mouthful to say as well. I am going to play it again using my Amazon S deck. So the reason why I'm showcasing this is because what I want to do is take all of these sorts of decks, so the Amazon S theme deck, the Gishki theme deck, the let's say the Ancient Gear theme deck, an Elemental Hero theme deck. You can do theme deck around Dark Magician and Blue Eyes as well. Yu-Gi-Oh's endless. There are so many different decks that you can create, but so basically there's 2 things I want to do. I want to do a tournament with all the original starter decks and structure decks. So these are the real life ones. I'll build them up until this game came out in 2019. So we are missing a few of the real newer cards. But all of the starter deck and structure decks post this game's release. Imagine if I made a tournament where I had every starter and structure deck all in like a big knockout tournament. There'd probably be, probably 70 or 80 contesting decks. But imagine the tournament, the actual real life decks all going head to head to get a go. There goes Gishki Vision. You can ritual summon 1 water monster. Gishki Beast. Gets that back from the graveyard. Cool combo. Here we go. We're going to get Gishki Zeal Gigas to the field this time. So that thing's effect. You can pay 1000 life points, draw a card, and if you do, reveal it. If it was a Gishki monster, shuffle 1 card from the field into the deck. So that could get my my Amazon S Onslaught off the field if it really wanted to. Now he went into the battle phase, so I'm going to put down Amazon S Swordswoman. Your opponent takes any battle damage that you would from attacks involving this card. That is extremely powerful. Amazon S Onslaught. See, that's the effect. It attacked me, so I can remove the enemy from play. Amazon S Princess was destroyed. Activate the effect of Amazon S Village. That will allow me to summon a level 3 or lower Amazon S monster. So I can get Amazon S Princess to the field really, really easy. That's any Amazon S monster that is destroyed. I can activate Amazon S Village's effect. Which means I can activate this effect again because Amazon S Princess has been summoned to the field. And I will take an Amazon S Call, so I can call literally any Amazon S card from my deck to my hand during my turn. Like, this is a mad deck. Like, it is mad powerful. These theme decks, okay, so the other thing I want to do is put all the theme decks together. And in terms of themed decks, like, the possibilities are endless. I could have a tournament with like 800 decks, probably even 1,000 different decks. And that tournament could go on and have like 1,000 contestants all the way down to a single winner. Like, we're talking something that will probably take a very, very long time to do, but I am so for that. This is my childhood dream. It's this sort of Yu-Gi-Oh content. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I'd be surprised if there wasn't anything like it somewhere, but I can never find this dream tournament, and because of the magnitude of its production, like, It's my childhood dream. I'm going to attempt it. I am legitimately going to attempt it. That's why I'm doing this duel, to show two of these theme decks together. Alright, there's Amazoness Queen. I haven't had any effects used on me, but he does have 2 face downs. Let's attack with this. Your opponent takes any battle damage. Okay, the effect of Amazoness Queen. Amazoness monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving this card. Mirror Force, fantastic. See, now, these decks, a lot of these decks do have Mirror Force, unfortunately, which kind of ruins a lot of the game as well. I don't like Mirror Force being in decks because, like, I've played a perfect strategy to get all that to the field and they just undo it all with Mirror Force. Okay, let's attack anyway. God. No, that's still fine. I'll lose 600 points, but I can use Amazoness Onslaught to get the Gishki Ritual Monster off the field and out of bounds. Like I said, this deck is very, very strong. The Gishki deck is really good as well, to be honest. We do have Amazoness Willpower. That's kind of like a... it's pretty much Call of the Haunted, but it's just for Amazoness cards. Battle phase, direct attack. I can use Amazoness Onslaught and use Amazoness Willpower. Let's bring back Amazoness Queen. So during a battle phase I can use Amazoness Onslaught to special summon an Amazoness monster from my hand. It will gain 500 attack for this turn, plus another 200 from that fill spell. Queen's Pawn. When an Amazoness monster destroys an enemy monster by battle, I can special summon, I think it's a level 4 or lower Amazoness monster from my deck to my field. Again, very good card as well. Those trap cards do need to be on the field for longer than a turn. Now, can the Gishki Ritual Monsters defeat my Amazoness deck? Yes, they have done many times before. In fact, I think the first time I tried to beat Mako, because like part of the game is to do all the duelist challenges, he beat me quite a few times. There's Gishki Shadow, that again, just that card alone can summon that Gishki Zeal Gigas. That is not a Gishki card that he drew. It is Mound of the... Does that rhyme, that card? Mound of the Bound, it does. Oh, he attacked. That is surprising. Ah, right. He used that card to get rid of my effects. Amazoness Queen was destroyed, yes. Amazoness Village. The opponent obviously doesn't know that I have more Amazoness monsters in my deck, but I can summon another Amazoness Queen. I have 3 of them in the deck. See, this is when you stack up monsters like this and you can just use these effects again and again, you make a deck that is stupidly powerful. He's got no cards on the field. Amazoness Tiger, that gains 400 for every Amazoness monster on the field. That card is stupidly powerful. That's part of a fusion to make Amazoness Pet Liger, and to be fair, Amazoness Tiger to begin with is probably better than its fusion. 2600, and let's finish him off. The Gishki cards, they can beat this deck, my Amazoness deck, very, very easily as well. But there we go, Amazoness gets the win. What do you think about a tournament like that? We get all these, like if we go into each one, so Dragon Buster Alistair, that's a deck themed around Buster Blader, and that's actually quite a good deck too. Arcana, Dark Magician Attack, that's a deck themed around Dark Magician. Bandit Keith, the Pendulum Scraps, there's these pendulum themed monsters. That's actually a really broken deck as well. They're all machine monsters, but they all come under sort of like a pendulum, not like a pendulum summon. I'm talking about like the monsters themselves are actually named Pendulum. Armageddon, that's based around King Armageddon of Demise or something. It's a ritual card, and then there's Queen Armageddon of something else as well. I can't quite remember their names, but they're both ritual monsters. That's what that deck's around. Serene Aroma, that's focused around Oh, those plant monsters. Aroma something. I can't remember everything of these decks, but that Aroma deck, that's pretty strong as well. They're all plant monsters. Shizu, Spellbook Prophecy, they're all like magic and trap cards, those spellbook cards. That's sort of like a magician's deck, that one. The Strain of Jinzo, obviously, that's built around Jinzo. Sign of the Harpy, that's a my deck. That's much, much stronger than her Duelist Kingdom days. Gishki. The Madolchi monsters, they're pretty cool. They're sort of like puppet sort of monsters, but they all theme together to make a really good deck as well. They're very tune-based as well. Gravekeepers. The Gravekeepers were actually quite an early booster pack. I think they came out in, if I go into deck edit, let's go onto an empty slot. That one will do. In this, if you put in text search and we put in Grave Key. So this is what I'm up against when I'm creating decks. Gravekeepers. Okay, might be Gravekeeper. There we go. Charm of Shabti. Gravekeepers, monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Discard, discard. So Gravekeepers Ambusher, Gravekeepers Assailant, Gravekeepers Cannon Holder, Gravekeepers Chef, Commandant, Curse. See, all these monsters that have Gravekeepers in their name. You can make a really good deck out of these Gravekeepers. It's not that strong anymore because they are pretty early cards, but you get what I'm going at. I could make probably 1,000 decks all with a different monster theme and have one absolute kick-ass tournament that goes almost through every Yu-Gi-Oh card on this game, and there's over 10,000 cards in this game. I think there are 10,027 off memory. I've got one copy of each card. I've still got a couple more double-ups to get, but in due time. Well, I'm going to clock off here for this duel. This was Amazoness and Gishki, two very, very cool decks. And I think dueling with these themed decks will make for one hell of a tournament. So I'm going to do some exhibition matches going forward to showcase some of these decks, and we'll see what sort of matches we come up with, and then yeah, we'll think about a tournament probably after GX and probably after Battle City and GX. So because remember, I do only have 32 slots and I do not have all the cards on the other game file on the other Nintendo Switch as of yet, but it is slowly getting there. So yeah, I'll showcase some of these themed decks so we can get familiar with some of them and we can see a bunch of different strategies put into play. So this is kind of going to be like the theme deck strategy series that I do for Yu-Gi-Oh. Very cool decks. Well, anyway, I'm going to head off. Tomorrow's Duelist Kingdom season match is Maya and Rex Raptor. So I'm going to try and do at least 2 duels a day, maybe even push it to 3rd, because there is a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh production in the backlogs, and doing 1 per day is never going to get through all of them. And I want to showcase more Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, so if you like Pokemon as well, I do Pokemon solo runs. That also occupies a bit of time as well. I've done 91 solo runs on Gen 1 games. It's Pokemon Red and Blue, so if you're a Pokemon fan, check them out as well. It's a bit of a different sort of content to Yu-Gi-Oh. Anyway, wherever you are in the world, stay safe, take care, farewell.